Hey, what's up, guys? And I know what you're thinking. Aren't their abilities the same? Well, not really. As you can see from the title, what if Naruto had the abilities of Deadpool and Wolverine? And most of their abilities seem rather close. But it's mostly just their fighting skills and their regeneration. I mean, Wolverine has very powerful animal enhanced senses. And yeah, the claws, so yeah. By the way, don't forget to get this one to 100 like as usual. If you want part 2, go ahead and comment down below and tell me you want part 2 and I'll be posting it as soon as possible. And I'm not going to be continuing What If Naruto was a supernatural demigod because I can see majority of you guys really don't like that one, but nothing else is cancelled, so there's nothing to worry about. So just sit back, relax, and yeah, I hope you guys enjoy. So without further ado, or wasting any more time, how about we jump directly into this brand new episode? Begin now, guys. We begin this episode with a man running for his life. He was running as fast as he possibly can. Dark hair and dark eyes. Dressed in brown and black clothing. He pushed open a door as he ran inside. Walking behind him was an individual dressed in a strange suit. He paused as the man had closed the door behind him. He reached up and scratched the back of his head as he looked at the door. I mean, really, you did see how I got through the metal door on the first level, right? And this is just an average door. He whipped out a sword that was neatly resting on his back as he sliced the thing to pieces before stepping inside. The place was dark, but he stepped in without a shred of fear or worry. Once he was close in the center of the room, all the lights turned on to reveal that he was surrounded. I never expected them to hire you of all people. A voice spoke up. He glanced up as someone was standing on a railing that was up another level. It was a man dressed in an all-white business suit, silver eyes and white hair. He seemed to be in his mid-40s. Ah, Kaido, the one that just burst the door down, said. I must say, I thought I would have to interrogate your boys over here, but I guess you're a man of not wasting time. Exactly, the man known as Kaido said. I have connection and people. I also have money as well. That is how I was able to find out that you were coming after me. I'll only give you a one-time offer. Turn to my side, and I'll pay you double what whoever hire you is paying you. Sorry, can't do that. Whole code and all of that. I have to see the mission through. However, I had no idea that you wanted a... Wait. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36. Now that's an odd number of men to hire. And I guess that makes you 37. I had no idea that you wanted a 38 sum. Well, it would be a fun party. So who's gonna strip first? Kaido frowned, always with those stupid jokes. Well, then you must have heard of me. So you must have an idea how exactly this is going to play out. Oh, I do, Kaido said. I made sure I had the best I can buy with my money. These guys aren't your average thugs. Look at them. The man turned as he gazed at each and every one of them. They're going to be the one to put you in the ground once and for all. Deadpool, Kaido said as he smirked. Get him, boys. Rip him apart, Kaido shouted out. Whoa, 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 all of them at once? I don't think I can take that. Well, if you guys insist. He jumped in the air as the light shined down on him even more because of his proximity and where he was floating, revealing every inch of him. The man was dressed in a red suit, red and black. The sleeves were black, a black leather running down towards his sides. He had a strange belt wrapped around his waist with equipment inside of it, and one right on his thigh as well. There was a knife in the holster there. There was 2 swords on his back in an X motion. On his face that was also covered. The black covered the right side and the left side of his eye, while the red composed of majority of the surrounding area. As he was in mid-air, he pulled out both of his blades that glistened when the light hit it. He then smirked as he came down. However, that was not visible to any. He twisted in mid-air. With one swipe, he was able to remove 2 arms. They were shocked by how fast he actually was, as he stepped on a guy's head and ricocheted himself over towards the side. He landed. You're gonna have to be much faster than that, boys, he said. They turned as they launched a barrage of kunais and shurikens. Whoa, all of you shooting at once. I can't take this, he said, as he brought the blade up and sliced the first shuriken in half. He started to deflect all of the kunais and shurikens that came his way. Another guy jumped to the right, one jumped to the left. Fire style, wind style, a low level wing technique, and the standard fireball jutsu. When the 2 techniques collided, it was an inferno, as the fire raged high and blazed and burned. The wind user spoke. You think we got him? Yeah, I think so. Look there. I think that is his corpse. Where? I don't see, the wind user said. Oh, right here. The man's head was removed, as he had no idea who he was even talking to. There Deadpool stood behind him. I guess he lost his head. In frustration, he slapped his own knee. Sometimes I really crack myself up, he said. What are you waiting for? Kaido shouted. Take him down. Oh, we going downtown now. Deadpool ran forward as he jumped. He dived as his blade stabbed through a guy's skull. He twisted and removed 2 arms before he landed and slammed his feet into another's chest, cracking several of his ribs. He spun down low, bisecting 4 men as he flipped away. He pulled out 2 of the knives as he launched them. They stabbed into the skull of 2 others. He dodged the fireball that aimed towards him. He jumped away from the massive earth slide as earth bullets were shot towards him and then water bullets. He ran up the wall and flipped as he literally threw himself into a large group, knocking them over. But when he got back up, their bodies were sliced apart. I guess that was a bloody session, he said. He then turned and sliced right through the axe that a man tried to slash him with. The man twists and drive his elbow into his face. However, Deadpool ducked. However, the man was no novice as he stomped his foot and turned. He swung a kick, but Deadpool rolled underneath it, right under the man's foot. In the process, he brought his blade upwards, cleaving through him from underneath as he came upwards. The man split right in half. He released his blade as he grabbed both of the halves, allowing the kunais and shuriken to hit one, and the fireball technique to burn the other. As the technique dispersed, something was seen thrown. Kaido decided to get the hell out of there. All of them were being killed. Kaido was not a good man, as he was in some deep underground business that most people want him dead for. However, they went above and beyond and hired Deadpool. He appeared a couple years ago, and by now almost everyone knew his name. He was the most deadliest assassin. Some say that he couldn't be killed. Some say that he's never truly been injured. Some say that he was a reaper. something that was born in the pit of hell. But the most truthful thing to that statement was, he always made jokes even while killing an individual, to show his lack of remorse. And he always spoke sometimes of pure nonsense. Sometimes what he said don't really make sense. Kaido ran away as a massive vault door behind him shut. As he was going to take the backroom exit, there was a boat outside. Kaido was on a goddamn island. The fact that Deadpool got here just show how skilled he was at what he did. Kaido reached outside as he started to run at full speed as fast as he could, as he did not see any of his men, not even one. Could he have gotten them all, Kaido thought, as he ran and ran and ran, finally arriving at the docks, a smile creep up on his face. He's gonna make it. He's gonna... What the hell? Why was the world turning upside down, he thought to himself. No, the world wasn't turning upside down. His head was removed. Deadpool held Kaido's head in his hand as he brought it up and looked at the face. Man, that's a really ugly expression to die on. Let me just fix that up for your dignity, he said. They said that they wanted your head as proof. He started to mangle and tamper with his head as he placed a smile on his face. There, that's a good smile, he said. He then turned towards the moonlight. A wonderful night, isn't it, Deadpool said. You know, this is usually the time that people who have great feelings for one another make out. I wonder, as he placed a hand to his face, acting all shy, do you feel the same about me? Oh, I understand. The silent type that don't give a damn about anyone except for yourself. Fine, I'll just bring you to where I'm supposed to bring you. With that, he carried the head off and made his way. As he was walking away, the entire place erupted in a violent explosion. As the explosion blew up behind him, he walked purposely on slow motion as he was taking very slow steps. This is the awesome movie scene where you walk slow motion when an explosion happens, so I have to do it. He spoke to himself. As he was walking, a piece of pipe on fire flew from the blast and split directly through his chest, causing him to fall on the ground. Oh shit, I'm so embarrassed. You never see this happening in the action movie. No, look away, he said, closing Kaido's eyes. As he gripped the pipe before, he ripped it out of his chest. He thought to himself. Moments later, he was on a boat. The pipe was now in Kaido's neck area, and Kaido was placed at the front of the boat, as Deadpool was standing there. Here we go, and beyond, he said, pointing out towards the horizon. However, everything was just moving slow. He said to himself. Usually you can fast forward past these rather boring scenes. Hey, I'm talking to you. Fine. Time skip. At Konoha, the hidden leaf, she was smiling happily as she reached and picked up her headband. She tied it around her forehead with a smile on her face. Today was it. Finally, after so many horrendous D-rank missions, it was finally her time to show them that she's a ninja of the hidden leaf now. She wasn't a child anymore, and she can handle dangerous missions. Sweetie, did you pack everything? A voice said. She released a sigh. Mom, I'm not a baby anymore. Of course I packed everything. Oh, you did now? Yeah, I did. Standing at the doorway was a beautiful red head. As she looked towards her loving daughter, she gave her a look. The young girl went to her bag as she was searching until she looked up with an apologetic gaze. Let me guess, you're missing your scroll. Fine, I am. Well, good thing I decided to double check. The woman known as Kushina said as she produced the scroll, handing towards her daughter, who possessed red hair just like her, blue eyes, 3 whisker marks on both of her cheeks. "You know I'm just worried about you," as she said and gave her daughter a kiss on the forehead. "Today is your first mission outside of the village, and I just want to make sure that you're safe and that you're going to be okay," she said. "I know, Mom, but this is what you and Dad prepared me for. This is what I've been training for, so I can protect myself." "Don't worry, I'll be just fine. I mean, you're looking at the future Hokage after all, so there's nothing for you to worry about." "I guess you're right," Kushina said with a smile. "After all, you're going to be the one to succeed your father." "Of course I am. It's my dream," she said, poking herself in the chest. "Now, it's time to go." As Kushina bid her daughter farewell and take care, she sat there watching her leave. It was a sad day for any mother to see her daughter go on her first outside mission. You can't help but worry. It was just a mother thing. If you weren't a mother or a loved one that was close to someone, watching them grow, watching them first take their steps, you wouldn't understand. It also brought back some rather bad memories that she would choose not to focus on right now. As she made her way, skipping towards the office, Minato Namikaze sat in the Hokage seat, as today was the day that he was going to allow his daughter to go on her first C-rank mission outside the village. Team 7 has been going rather well, he thought to himself. His gaze looked up towards a photograph of Hiruzen Sarutobi, the man that made all of this possible. If it wasn't for him, Minato would not be here. None of them would be here. On that dreadful night, that horrible night, Hiruzen made a decision that would ensure the future of Konoha's safety. He interrupted the process. Yes, he took Minato's spot. But not only that, he had the foresight to seal the residue chakra into Kushina. The chance was 50-50, but her impressive Uzumaki genes brought her over to their side, alive and well to raise her beautiful daughter, Mito Namikaze. Minato was struggling with bad thoughts, as that night, it seems like the same thing would have happened once again, the same horrible fate that happened once before. But he shot that away. There was no time to think about that right now as he watched his beloved daughter and her team enter the mission room. As he was here to see them off, his daughter came in as professional as usual. While he was her father, he was also the Hokage, and she was trying to prove to them and show them all that she was ready. Yes, she was ready. As their sensei was one of his former students, the last one, Kakashi Hatake. Time skip. Team 7 was on the road as they were making their way. It consists of Mito Namikaze, Sakura Haruno, and Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke's life had not been pleasant, not in the slightest. Things went bad for him when Itachi Uchiha, his older brother, decided to massacre his entire clan, something that had scorned the child. However, Mikato's best friend, Sasuke's mother, was Mikato. Her best friend was Kushina Uzumaki, decided to step up and ensure that the boy was stable, to ensure that he was healthy, to be there for him. The families had been close for a long time. Mito and Sasuke were good friends, and they were also rivals, always trying to outdo the other. At the moment, Sakura Haruno was speaking to the client, a man known as Tazuna, as they headed to his home. He started to tell her about the economy of the land of Wave, that their system was different, as Kakashi chimed in. This was things that she should know, that all of them should know. After all of the villages weren't ninja villages. Mito saw a puddle up ahead. Immediately, her father and mother's training kicked in. They have been walking for a few hours now. The sun was a testament to how hot it was. And yet, that puddle was there. There was no rainfall because they would have seen it or felt it. Something wasn't right here. She signaled towards Sasuke. Having been around her for the longest time now, her movements was sudden, but Sasuke noticed. He noticed her eyes pointing towards that direction. The moment he saw it, he narrowed his gaze. They both looked towards Kakashi suddenly, but the man was paying them absolutely no mind. Not wanting to talk out loud, they prepared themselves. As Sakura saw Mito getting close to her, she was confused. She was about to say something, but the moment they passed, Kakashi was torn apart. Sakura's eyes widened. "Protect the client," Mito shouted at her, causing her to kick into drive, whipping out a kunai as she jumped in front of the man. Mito and Sasuke looked at one another. They both ran forward. The demon brothers shot forward. Their first target was Mito, as their chain was still intertwined, but the both of them paused when the chain slammed into a tree courtesy of the Uchiha. But it wasn't over yet as Sasuke landed in between them, kicking the both of them. As Gozu was knocked to the side, a brutal punch slammed into his cheek, courtesy of Mito. She did not stop there as she created a clone. The clone bumped her to the side because Gozu swiped up with his claw hand. Now that she was free out of his range, Mito rolled and kicked him in the back. Another clone above that slammed a brutal kick on his head, knocking him downward as Mito's fist crashed under his chin. She wasn't done yet though. Two more clones as they kicked him up in the ear. Namikaze barrage! As she was moving with great speed, using the clone as leverage, they grabbed him as they spun. They brought him down with a BAM! As he crashed in the ground, he was out cold. As for the other brother, Sasuke released several miniature fireballs in the span of a couple of seconds, forcing him to try and evade all of them, but they were just so fast. One of them hit him in the shoulder, which allowed Sasuke to rush in and jump. Sasuke hooked his legs around his neck before he pulled him down and slammed his head into the earth as he rested a kunai right against his throat, his tone changing to a serious one. "One move and you're done," he said. As the two of them were able to take down the demon brothers, a combination of the both of them were a C rank, yet they were taken down by two genins that just graduated from the academy. Well, that might be the case, however, they have been training and gaining experience for some time now. Sakura was amazed. She knew that the both of them were very powerful, but it seems like she underestimated them in her own mind because this was far greater than she expected. As the both of them dealt with both brothers, just like that. Mito placed her hand on the ground as she closed her eyes. "Kakashi-sensei, are you gonna stay in hiding forever?" Kakashi reappeared as Sakura looked towards the broken pile of wood. Mito was a touch sensor, just like her father. That is how she found him. Kakashi realized that this wasn't as they expected. "Time skip. You know, if you keep on flirting with me like this, we're gonna have to go on a date sometime." "I'm not flirting with you," the man said with a frown as Deadpool was sitting in a chair. "Oh really? And what's with all of those very personal words? That you need me for something private, something dangerous, for me to slip right in and assassinate the target?" The man blinked. "Those are the exact words that I said, but I did not say it in that way." "What way?" said Deadpool. "The way that, you know what? I'm not even going to entertain your shit today. I need you to take out another person for me." His name is Gato. Gato, huh? You know, I heard about that one. Common for your thugs with a lot of money. Lacking in certain areas, so they make up for it in others. I don't really care about that. All I want you to do is to put that sword of yours through his skull. You know, thinking about it, what I'm doing is not so moral, Deadpool said. I mean, you're a crazy and horrible person that is involved in some of the biggest underground operations. And you're just using me to wipe out all of your competitions. Yeah, I am. But in return, I'm paying you a shit ton of money. So you should be satisfied with that. Guess you're right. But you know, one day, I might be sent to come after you. How do you feel about that? That is why I'm keeping you on retainer, the man said. Why the hell do you think I've been paying you all this time? Oh, forgot about that. You forgot? You're telling me that if you were sent after me, you'd have goddamn killed me because you forgot? Whoa. Cool the brakes. No need to rush in so hard. You might rip it. I'm just kidding. The man took a breath. Since working with you, you've been stressing me out more and more. How about a cool, nice, relaxing bath? That tends to release my stress. You know the target and what to do. Would you just go already? Fine. Looks like someone woke up in the wrong side of the bed this morning. And it wasn't mine. With that, Deadpool made his way off. The man stood there. He had dark green hair, dark eyes. He was dressed in a brown and black business suit. His name was Amado, and Deadpool was right. He was using him to kill off his competitions. But Deadpool did anything. You could hire him for almost anything, mass genocide or whatever. As long as he was getting paid, oh, he will do it. Even some missions that seem literally impossible, he got them done. That is why Amado decided to keep him on retainer, to make sure that someone didn't send him after him, and to make sure that he can use his talents to assassinate anyone that tried to take his throne. Amado had no idea who was under that mask of his. The only thing that he knew about him was that his name was Deadpool, not his real name, of course, and his skills were on a completely different level, tracking and fighting. He was a born assassin. However, he could do without the jokes. Time skip. As Deadpool stood near the land of Wave. Now that was fast. It's almost like someone just said time skip and I magically appear here. Well, enough of that. He was an excellent tracker for a reason, as he came across a rather destructive scene. Yes, there was a fight that took place here. He leaned down as he started to sniff. I know that scent. He released a breath. And here you are working for my target. Now I'm gonna have to kill you, Zabuza, he thought to himself. And your little friend. Well, there's another scent. Let's see what this one's about first. As he followed that scent and headed towards the town. Arriving, he jumped up as he made his way on top of one of the roofs. As he noticed the shape of the people, the state that they were in. Gato really did a number on this town, given the location and where this village is located. Perhaps Konoha ninjas, he thought to himself. Well, if they're here, they're probably here to free the people. But Gato is gonna be mine, not theirs. However, given his business on the daylight with his shipping company, I wonder if they would just kill him off like that. Wouldn't it seem that bad precedence for the rest of the world? I mean, not many people know that Gato dabble in what he dabble in. I wonder. Let's go see if they know. As he calmly made his way, not taking stock of the people down below, as he followed the scent as it led him straight towards a house near the pier. The scent that he picked up on, Zabuza had been fighting a few days ago. Therefore, as he heard a few sounds, he made his way. He came to a stop as he saw a young girl. She seemed to be asleep on the ground, right here. Her eyes were closed so he could not see them. 3 whisker marks on both cheeks, just as he thought, as he looked at the Konoha headband. That is when he noticed it was Zabuza's little buddy, as he stood there watching and observing the scene. Slowly, as Zabuza's little buddy made his way, he reached out. However, he waked the girl up. Deadpool was a bit surprised by that, given that the both of them were enemies. However, the Konoha Kunoichi seemed to have no understanding of what was really going on. Otherwise, she would be attacking right now. As he stood where he was and decided to watch the scene play out. They talked for a while before Zabuza's little buddy made his way off, heading back towards where he came from. As the Konoha ninja made her way, she was heading towards the house. If he remembered correctly, Zabuza's little buddy knew a bit about medical. Last time he saw them, Zabuza did get wounded, and he was the one to patch him up, and given the blood that he smelled, that must be the similar case here. That meant all he had to do was to wait a while, and things were going to play out in his favor. Down below, as Mito was heading back, having met a rather interesting individual who gave her a good perspective on what she was doing as she headed back towards the house. Time skip. Loud snoring could be heard coming from in the foliage as someone was lying on the ground, as it revealed to be no other than Deadpool. Something came rushing by that alerted him. Immediately he jumped up. Oh shit, he turned his head. Did I left the stove on? He spoke out loud before he flicked to his feet, as he noticed that same Kunoichi from before, running, making her way towards the bridge. He'd spent a quality day and a half here, and this was the most interesting thing to happen, her running by. Well, except for those 2 animals going at it last night. Well, what can you do? It's nature. As he fixed himself up, what am I doing? I'm always adorable, he said. Leaping up into the trees, he made his way off. As he arrived to the bridge, he noticed a pink-haired Kunoichi standing in front of a man, as the other red-headed Kunoichi rushed and jumped inside of a strange ice dome. A smile appeared on his face under his mask, as he flicked down and landed on the ground, slowly making his way. Meanwhile, Sakura Haruno was worried, as she stood in front of the client. She was prepared to protect him at all costs, but she was also worried. Luckily, Mito had just came and went to help Sasuke. However, this person that they were dealing with wasn't your average ninja. She heard what Zabuza said earlier, that this person was even stronger than him. And that was bad. Really bad. She was worried about her teammates, but she was given a clear order, so she would stay here and protect the client. That is when she heard, "Ho ho ho, Mary!" Oh, wrong intro. Yes, it's me. Don't bother dropping to your knees and bowing right now. We're in a very tense and thick situation that we need to ram very hard to make our way through. Both Tazuna and Sakura looked towards him, rather confused, as Sakura quickly pointed her kunai towards him. "Who are you?" she said. He blinked as he looked at her confused. "Wait, you really don't know who I am?" "No, should I?" she said. I really don't know how to go about this. Usually people already know who I am." "Well, I guess your age is a problem, so you would not know." "But how about you, old man? You must know who I am." "I don't know who you are," said Tazuna. Deadpool sank away over to the side as he started to tap his finger on the ground, carving a circle into it. "What? It's not like I'm starving for attention or anything. I'm just asking for a bit of recognition." Who the hell is this guy? The both of them thought, as he got back to his feet. "Well, I'm not here to mingle. I'm just here to get in and out as fast as I can. Maybe even 3 times. Now, step aside." "No," Sakura said. I don't know who you are, but I won't allow you. Oh, don't worry. You Konoha ninjas are A-okay. I'm just here for the bad guy. You know, Gato, he said. Given the situation that you currently face, I think the both of us are like allies. Never really had those before. So yeah, that's a good thing. But you should know, having the Deadpool on your side is like having Superman and Batman mixed into one. Super and what? Sakura said confused. Oh, don't worry. They don't know you either, he said. Well, I'll get going now, he said as he jumped on the railing and gazed towards the dome. Stop right there, Sakura said. Still not trusting this guy. However, he turned and threw something towards her. The knife that was securely strapped to his thigh. Knocked the kunai out of her hand as it slammed into the bridge. Before she could even move, he was in front of her. Next time, he said as he held it in his hand, hold it this way. As he placed it back in her hand and stabbed this way, he said, thrusting the kunai out while holding onto her wrists, leaving her utterly confused. As he pat her on the head, good little, you might look like a chihuahua on the outside, but I would say pitbull, he said, as he pat her on the head. Now it's time for me to go. Don't worry, your comrades will be safe. With that, he headed off and pulled both of the blades that was securely tied to his back. Sakura watched as he ran forward and sliced. However, his blade bounced right off the ice. Oh yeah, I forgot that it wasn't normal ice or a mirror that can shatter. Well then, I guess I'll just have to jump in. He threw himself over and landed on the inside. All fighting came to a stop. Sasuke, who was bombarded with needles. Mito, who was in the same situation. However, Sasuke did get a great opportunity to awake his Sharingan. Another one? Mito said. This wasn't good. She knew if she got the opportunity she could take this guy, but the mirrors were just too damn fast. With him going through them, he was using light itself to reflect himself across them. No. Mito heard the person spoke. It was the one with the 100 in mass. As the person stepped out of the mirror. What are you doing here? Oh, hi there. Deadpool waved happily. It's good to see you again. Immediately, Haku launched several needles towards him. He did not bother moving as they stuck into him. Come on now. We've been through this before. Yes, we have, Haku said. And that is why I know that you would do what you just did. Running through hand sign, the needles showed that they weren't normal needles. They were made from ice, and when Haku finished his hand sign, they expanded, causing Deadpool to drop down to one knee as they stabbed into the ground, pulling him down, causing him to lose both of his blades. I won't allow you to hurt Zabuza-sama. Haku charged in without hesitation, intending on doing some serious damage. As the massive ice structures that were piercing through him were doing their best to keep him at bay. However, he sighed as he clenched his fists. That is when strange blades erupted out of his knuckles. He used it to slice right through the giant one in his gut. He then sliced through the other in his leg. He rolled away as Haku came down and struck the area, intending on taking off his head. Blurring through hand sign, Haku sucked the moisture out of the ear and created dozens of needles. Ice release. Piercing rain, he said, as all of them rained down upon Deadpool. Majority of them hit, however, he was able to evade some of them in the process as he flipped away. Both Mito and Sasuke were confused on what was going on and who was this new guy. Did I really left that bad of an impression that you want to kill me without a proper conversation? I thought we were friends. Friends? Friends? You left Zabuza-sama in a critical condition. He nearly died because of you. I won't allow you to hurt him again. The blades retracted back in his hand as he cricked his neck. Well then, I guess I'll have to get a little serious. After all, you're not one to play around when it comes to your little master. Haku dashed forward as Deadpool shot forward as well. Haku went out with a straightforward attack, however. Deadpool evaded and dodged each of them. Both Mito and Sasuke were surprised. Whoever this guy was, his reflex and speed was greater than the mass hunter Nin. He whipped out the other knife on his thigh and threw it. Haku dodged the knife, however. He did not see the second one that was thrown at the exact same time. It slammed into his shoulder. He received a brutal kick that slammed him across the ground. Before he could fuse with his mirror, a blade swept right past his mask, cutting it in half. He rolled on the ground as he was kicked in the back. He tried to get to his feet, but before he could even move, two blades were resting at the side of his neck. One move and his head would fall right off. Now that we can finally settle down and talk, we can have a proper conversation, I mean. Look at us. We both have to hide our identity from the world, because we know that if our faces are leaked to humanity, there will be a mob of people on constant patrol, trying to tear us apart to get to our naughty bits. So when you think about it, we're not that different. We're actually a lot alike. Both amazingly handsome in our own way. Both excellent fighters and both skilled. However, I don't have a master that is controlling me. I'm curious though, is that a kink or something? Like a little submission play? A little bit of dominance? Is Zabuza the top or the bottom? Shut up, Haku said. I will rather die than let you hurt Zabuza-sama ever again. Well, it's a good thing that I'm not here for him. I'm here for his boss. However, if he does stand in my way, I will have to turn him into the sushi of the mess, and not the demon of the mess. Haku clenched his fist, but in the position that he was in, if he made a move, it was certain death. As much as this person loved to joke around, Haku knew who this was, and knew that he would not hesitate to end his life in the blink of an eye. Why don't you go ahead and finish it then, if you're here for what you're here for? I like you, Deadpool said. You're fun to mess with. And I like that, he said. In this life you need comic relief. Otherwise, things get really boring. I mean, have you seen the stories that this tragic writer has written for the both of us? He's made our life hell, just to make it hell going down once again. What? Haku said. What the hell is going on? Someone finally spoke up. Ah, hey there, Tomato. What did you just call me? Said Mito. Tomato, I mean, look at your hair. Or have you never seen a tomato before? Oh no, poor child. Well, let me describe it. I know what a tomato is, Mito said. Don't call me that. Who are you? Oh, well, it's me, the one and only, the ultimate assassin, the creeper in the night, the one that make others scared to even walk when they hear my name. Wait. That is coming off a bit wrong even for my taste. What am I saying? I've said worse. Well, you get the gist. It's me, Deadpool. What? Sasuke narrowed his gaze. It seems your little buddy right there know who I am. You know him? Mito said confused. No, I don't, but I have heard that name before. He's some sort of bounty hunter, not tied to any village. Bounty hunter? Hey brat, I'm a lot more than that. Respect the name and the title. What are you doing here? Mito said. This doesn't have anything to do with you. No, that's where you're wrong, you see. There's a target here that I need to take care of, but don't you worry, Tomato. You're not that target. In fact, we're kind of allies if you think about it. I see what you're doing, so don't even bother, he said, looking towards Haku's hand. Unless you want to lose it. Now let's go for a little trip. He wrapped his arm around Haku and placed a blade at his throat as he jumped off. Meanwhile, both Kakashi Hatake and Zabuza were clashing against one another. Blade versus kunai, as the place was thick and heavy with mist. Hey, Zabuza! Zabuza paused. That voice. I see you're still carrying that big thing around. Get your mind out of the gutter. I'm talking about that blade of yours. Zabuza snapped his head to the right when he saw one of the men that he hated the most in this world. You, he said, and Haku was being held as a hostage. Before you make a move now, I want you to remember that I have your little buddy right here. And I'm sure that you don't want to see him get hurt. Do what you must, Zabuza-sama. Don't allow my life to endanger yours. Oh, come on now. That's not what a hostage is supposed to say. Well, kind of, but it's not a good thing for me. No, just be quiet, he said. So, Zabuza, how about we have a little conversation? Hey, I know you too. Well, at least I've seen your photo before. You're Kakake, right? Kakashi blinked. Hatake, he said. Yeah, that's what I said. Kakake. Kakashi eye twitched. He knew who this was. Granted, he never met him before, but this person's name was all over. And if I'm not mistaken, you're Deadpool, he said. Tell me something. Who is your target here? Oh, don't worry, it's not you. It's not even Zabuza, but I know that he's gonna be a grumpy Gus and get in my way. That is why I need him to just back off. I mean, I actually like you guys. Well, given our last interaction was bad, I think I can fix our relationship. You know, a lot of people these days are going to council. Shut the hell up, Zabuza said. This isn't going to be like last time. Oh, remind me again, what happened? I can't seem to recall. Oh yeah, why don't we do one of those things, you know? As Deadpool turned his gaze. Flashback. Enough of your nonsense, Zabuza said. It's time I finally end this once and for all. Oh shit. He interrupted the flashback. This guy is something else. Well, I suppose, if you want to do it that way, we can. As he tilted his head to the side. It seems we don't have to bother though. He threw Haku to the side, who quickly regained his bearings. As he pointed behind them, Gato and his men finally arrived on the bridge. Zabuza turned. Gato, what the hell are you doing here? I told you I had this handle. Oh, these guys are not here to back you up, Zabuza. They're here to take you down. What? You heard what I said. You really think I was going to pay you so much for your mistakes and your crap? Demon of the Mist, my ass. You've lost before and look at you now. Look like you're about keeled over and die anytime soon. That is why I decided to take matters into my own hands and finish this once and for all. And taking your head would be my first priority. Gato suddenly went silent. Everyone was confused until they saw the knife buried into his skull. Did I do that? Deadpool said, as everyone turned towards him. Oh, I guess I did. Sorry about the interruption. Oh, you can't hear me. You're dead. As he stepped forward. Well, boys, as you can see, your meat ticket is dead. So you have two options. Leave this place and never come back. Or take it if you want. If I were you, I would take it. You killed him, one of them said. And we haven't gotten paid yet. Well, are you expecting me to pay you guys? Well, I can. I do have a lot of money. And my head is worth a lot, I mean. My head is worth millions. Kakashi wondered if he was mentally unstable. Why the hell was he telling them that? So there's a bounty on you, one of them said. Yeah, I mean, there's a bounty on all of us. And given your guys' numbers, you can overpower us and cut all of our heads. And even back there, that boy, he's the last Uchiha in Konoha. He's probably worth billions. Well, that's probably a lie, but I'm whispering right now so you guys can't know that. Yeah, so do your worst. They start to grin as they look towards each other. Kakashi prepared himself to fight. Wait, Haku was the one that spoke. We are no longer enemies. We no longer have to kill one another, so you must know. Do not interrupt. It's not gonna end well for any of them. Kakashi gazed toward the sides of the group. As Haku saw that, it doesn't matter. This is what he does. You will see what he really is right now. As all of the men charged forward, he retracted the claws out of his knuckles, 3 on each hand. He jumped in like an animal. One by one, dozen by dozen, he ripped and shredded them to pieces. He was literally dancing as he shredded them, moving and twisting and singing to himself. As he picked Gato off the ground and sliced his head clean off. I'm gonna need this to come with me. You know, I've been going on a lot of one-on-one dates with heads recently. I wonder if it's gonna become my new fetish or something. Nah, that's just crazy, he said, as he was standing in a pool of dead bodies. As he grabbed Gato's head and started to walk away, heading straight towards the Konoha ninjas, as they seemed to tense up. However, he paused. You're welcome, he said, as he bowed his head. I thought there would be some clapping, but guess I was wrong, he said. Well, Zabuza, until next time. Well, that's if you don't want to kill me. But that's kind of, you know, he said. I am winking at you right now if you haven't noticed. Well, see you guys soon. With that, he jumped off the bridge as he landed into the water. They looked forward as they looked down, but his body was nowhere to be seen. He was gone. Time skip. As Minato Namikaze was receiving the mission report, after which he dismissed the team. The mission was a success, but he never expected the Deadpool to intervene. He heard a lot about this individual. He made a name for himself a couple years ago. No one knew who was under the mask. They say that his face has never yet been seen. A very jokey and crazy individual that is hired by a lot of powerful people. They say that once he's sent after a target, there was nothing that could stop him, even if the target was well protected. Most believe that he was death itself, given the name. Some say that he could not die, even by removing his heart, chopping him up into little pieces. He just wouldn't die. That he was death incarnate. It was a good thing that he wasn't their enemy on this mission. While he had confidence in Kakashi's strength and the team as a whole, he doubted that they could best that man from the things that he's heard. Well, good riddance, he thought to himself, hoping that none of his other ninjas will come across him in the foreseeable future. As he smiled to himself, having his daughter back after her first successful mission, well, it made him feel happy. While he was to take charge over the whole village, she was his daughter after all, and he was happy about that. Her mother will be much happy as well. However, as he sat here, thinking about that, bad memories returned. As he shook his head, not wanting to think about that right now. Later that night, as Mito was sleeping, after returning back from a long journey, Kushina stood at the door with a smile on her face. As she stepped out closing it, however, that smile soon turned into tears. Just a few tears as she wiped them away, as she thought about her son. She never even got the opportunity to name him. She said, the moment that she saw his face, she would know, as they were struggling with a few names that they wanted to name him, but she released a breath. It was a few years before Mito was born. They had Mito when she was 26 and Minato was 27. However, a few years before that, they had another child. That is why, on the night of Mito's birth, she wondered if fate just did not want them to conceive when the nine-tail was ripped out of her by that masked man. Things went so bad, but Hiruzen laid down his life, and they were here because of him. She would always be grateful for the sacrifice that he made that night. However, she thought about her baby boy. She remembered seeing his beautiful face. He possessed golden hair like his father, beautiful blue eyes. He didn't have the slashes that Mito had. However, he had a unique feature in his hair. While majority of his hair was blonde, at the tip of few of the strands, it was red like hers, giving him a unique look. Minato handed the baby over towards one of the nurse, who was in the special location, to go and get him cleaned up, as he had to reseal the nine-tail seal. However, something was wrong. She could feel it the moment they left, going to the other room. But she thought it was just nerves, becoming a mother. 5 minutes, that was all it took. Minato was confused why weren't they back yet. However, when he ran back inside with a frantic look on his face, she shouted at him to tell her what was going on. But their child was missing. The Anvus that were guarding them were dead. The two nurses were also dead as well. Even in her weakened state, Kushina did not care. She rose. She tried. All of them tried. But there was nothing. Their baby boy was gone, and no one could find him. No one knew where he was. They knew nothing at all. They just couldn't find him. Weeks passed, months passed, years. The feeling never left that she would never see that boy ever again. It's been years now. When she found out she was pregnant with Mito, she was so scared. But she prayed. She cried out to the deities that are listening to help this pregnancy through without any complications, and while there were some, Hiruzen came in with the ultimate sacrifice. And she was here with her beloved daughter, but she would have wanted Mito to know about her big brother. They told her about him. She was saddened when she found out, but they waited until she was mature enough to handle it. There was nothing they could do about it because after all these years they were never able to find him. He was just gone. No one could explain it, as they did not know who took him. But they had one clue though. Whoever it was, they used a poisonous gas. The head Yamanaka had scanned the brain of the dead to try to get the recent memories, and that was what that he received. A poisonous gas. So they did not know if the child even survived that. Kushina sighed as she looked up, looking beyond the ceiling as she tried. If he was still out there, if her boy was still alive somehow, she hoped one day that she would get to meet him, that she would get to know him. She just hoped. A distance away, he stretched. "I'm gonna sleep like a baby tonight," he said to himself, as he reached out and took hold of the mask before he removed it, finally exposing his face. He stepped forward as he stood in front of a mirror. "Yep, just as handsome as always," he said. His skin was flawless. Not a mark, not a mar. Flawless skin. Ocean deep blue eyes. Blonde hair with red strands at the end. As they came down in his face because of the mask, He remembered the first time he saw his face. Oh, was he hideous! However, because of his genetics and his abilities, it healed his skin. He hasn't thought about this in a long time. But it was now just coming to him as he looked at the mirror. His real name was Naruto. Just Naruto. He was actually named after a ramen topping. It was the man that found him. Upon feeding him something, the man saw that he enjoyed that the most. Having no name at the time, he named him Naruto after the ramen topping. Yes, a silly name, but he needed something to call him. As the memories start to come back, how he became what he was, how he became Deadpool. Flashback. A young Naruto was in a massive tank covered in water as he struggled to move. His body, his skin was not looking so good. His eyes snapped open as he quickly looked around. Everything so blurry. Someone peeped inside as they looked rather frazzled. When they saw that he was awake, he reached up as he gripped the breathing mask on his face and ripped it off. In the process, his knuckles exploded with long claws. As they ripped through his knuckles as he screamed, he ripped out of the tank as he landed and released a guttural animal roar. As his bloody eyes looked towards each and every one of them, all he was seeing was red, like an animal. But guys, be and subscribe right here for what's the next portion to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember, share all of your friends in your social media platform. And also, guys, don't forget to go ahead and check out the other what ifs on the other channels. I hope you guys enjoy each and every one of them. But I'm hoping I'll see you guys soon. Peace.